Hello and welcome to another episode of No Time Happy Revenge of the Fifth. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good? No load time. Obit, happy Revenge of the Fifth, sir.
Good to see you, sir. How's it going? I saw that you
Doing.
were you were enjoying Star Wars Day, sir.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like some people are right now celebrating Cinco de Mayo. That is not Obed and Joel Young.
No,
We are
we,
we
we
are
good.
Revenge of the Fifth people.
We're nerds.
We are
We
nerds.
don't we don't partake. Yeah, we,
Sorry.
we don't.
That's-
We don't. I was gonna say it's like
Whoa.
we don't partake in social interactions at this time of day.
As we're literally having a virtual social interaction with
Hey,
each other.
I saw a really good. You know what? I saw a
Yeah.
really good meme.
Okay.
Actually, I think it was like this morning. It was two wolves. It was like introverts when they're with extroverts, and they're both like quiet, and then introverts, and they're like smiling like to each other. So it's kind of
Getting
like what's
along
going on here. We're
for sure.
nerds. We have a life, right? But still, it's we've
Yeah.
I've outgrown the Cinco de Mayo and the
Good.
all the other stuff, St. Patrick's Day and all the drinking days. We've outgrown them. We're fine.
Go to a party or do a podcast. We'll do the
I
podcast.
would do the
You guys are
podcast, sir.
you guys are where it's at. This is where the fun is. This is the party. Come on,
Oh, this
Obed.
is where the
Don't
fun.
die this down.
This is where the fun begins.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So there is a local sports organization that not affiliated with us, to be clear, but
Okay.
kind of local, not directly at least, but they put out for May the 4th a social post where they basically took one of their players and put him into the scene where Anakin is, marching up the steps, right, with the 501st behind him.
No.
But the caption was,
Uh-huh.
"This is where the fun begins."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Killing younglings.
no. I was like, no, 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 no. Like, this is not,
No.
that was not the
Andy.
post.
Andy, what are you doing?
Andy, what are you doing?
It's great.
Oh my gosh, bro. Oh
That
yeah.
is funny, dude. I haven't
It
seen
is
that
pretty
post.
funny.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. That's
Yeah,
great
yeah.
though.
I can send it your way. I can send it your
Okay,
way.
okay, yeah, that's real good. That's real
For
good. But
sure,
yeah,
for
man,
sure.
we had a chance to meet up yesterday and
Yeah.
socially interact.
Right as you're
Yeah,
talking about this.
it was good. So, but yeah, man. I mean, what's happening? I guess we can. I think we have a collective what's up this week. We can start by unless you want to talk about Star Wars at Hollywood Studios, and then we
Yeah.
can keep going. So
Yeah, I was gonna say just real quick recap yesterday, but yeah, obviously for May the 4th. Like so I got to see Return of the Jedi on May the 3rd. I think yesterday was the last day. Or sorry, yeah, yesterday was the last day I think to actually see Return of the Jedi in theaters. I was telling you about it a little bit, but like it's so weird because I'm not used to watching the specialized edition. I just don't watch that edition of these movies. So when I do and seeing it on the big screen, like just the random song scene in Jabba's palace, like that's really
that's I
weird.
think out of the entire special edition movies, that is the scene.
Yeah,
That is the scene that for me just
yeah.
it's just bad overall. Um,
And it doesn't look good
it doesn't
now,
look
like because
good.
now, like
It
it
didn't
really
look
didn't
good
look good
then.
then.
Yeah,
But now, but it just got worse. Like seeing that plastered on a huge screen, just
mm,
doing the weird. I was like, this is just not right. But but regardless, like seeing the ending, like I was saying to you about, I love the whole like the celebration around the
yeah.
galaxy as Palpy's been taken down. Spoilers, guys. The movie's 40 years old.
Oh.
but like that whole sequence is great. The whole chorus song where they pull down the statue and
Yeah.
stuff like that was cool to see. And Jar Jar and yeah,
Yeah. That there's subtle changes here and there that are very good. It's just that one scene, man.
yeah,
Like
it's
if
really weird.
like I don't know. I mean, it was George, right?
It was.
But it's like I don't know why he made this choice, right?
Yeah,
And I get it, like the original version of that scene, which is like not even a third of that entire sequence, right? Um, it's not good, but
Yeah.
this just is so out of place that is it's just bizarre. It's bizarre.
Mhm.
That's the best word that I can use to describe that scene.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Like just in general, the whole Jabba's palace sequence is not my favorite part of the movie at all. It's just it's very strange. It goes around like it's not terrible, but it's just kind of like different is what
it's
I'll
a good
say.
third of the
But
movie
then
there, though. Yes,
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah,
But then like you add in like that in there, and it makes it even more like okay. But then you get to the cool parts, you keep going on, your whatever. The movie really did. Once you get past that, I'm like, Return of the
yeah,
Jedi
yeah,
just jumps straight to like, hey, this is the battle we need to take to the new Death Star, get the crew together, go to Endor, send Luke out there, and it just
yep.
movie just takes off. Love that. Um, so yeah, good time watching that. And also again, good to see Hayden, as Anakin, like as the Force goes to the end. What a
Yeah,
great that's one like of all the edits, it's probably one of the best things
yeah.
they could
Like
have
I
done.
can see why a lot of people like protested when that first happened when the DVDs came out. But it's I'm indifferent towards it, and just because we saw Sebastian Shaw for like 30 seconds with the makeup on, so we had like no attachment to the character,
Mm-mm,
right? So actually, adding Hayden there just really adds to the the emotional punch for the ending. So
for sure. For sure.
that's
No, totally.
I have zero problems with it.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great. It's a great moment.
yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, yesterday, May the 4th, I was able to go out with a buddy to not I wish you would have been the buddy, but I understand
It's
other
TJ, friend of the show. He's been here before.
friend of the show. Absolutely. Our good buddy TJ was able to go out with him to Hollywood Studios after our social engagement, as you mentioned, that we had earlier in the day.
After
But
we dispensed with the pleasantries, we
the
would.
pleasantries.
You went
Then the
to.
fun
I went
starts.
my own
That's
way.
where the fun
Yeah,
begins.
it was like it was like the Falcon and the X-wing and in Return of the Jedi. Just we were going like this. You were going in the Falcon to Hollywood Studios. I was going to the X-wing to get stuck in traffic for like 45 minutes. So,
Oh
yeah.
my oh my gosh. So yeah, yeah. So it was fun being out there. I've never gone to Hollywood Studios on May the 4th. I've always wanted to do it. Various reasons I've not been able to go. And so it was really cool to finally actually be out there and like it felt like a convention. Like the real fans
Yeah.
were definitely showing up. It felt like I was at Star Wars Celebration or something. The cosplay on point, which is interesting because I know that Disney has some regulation around like you can't really wear costumes if you're like over 14 or something like that.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like Disney didn't care yesterday because people were dressed as like full
Interesting.
characters and
I
they let them
remember.
right in.
Yeah, I remember when Star Wars weekends used to
Yeah.
be a thing.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people in costumes. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think it's like if you're over, I mean, I don't think you're you can wear a mask regardless if you're even if you're a kid.
They
Um.
changed that recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the thing. So the people there, one of them, was actually works with Disney and was saying, oh, they actually changed that. And people were walking around with the clone trooper helmets and
Oh,
Mando
wow.
helmets, dude. Yeah, it was very
That's
I was
crazy.
surprised.
Yeah, I'm
I was
surprised. I'm
surprised.
shocked. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're
honestly, I was
usually
very
very
surprised as
strict,
well.
and that's the thing, right? It's like, well, I think the rule for the costume and the cosplay is as long as that character that you're dressing as is not walking around or at a meet and greet, you can get away with it. Because we've
Because
seen
if you're Cinderella and then Cinderella's walking out there
yes, that's the thing, right?
and you look better than the Cinderella out there, because
But
some of these cosplayers
yeah,
do.
but you can be a character from I don't know Big Hero 6 that are not in the park, right? And you can
Ooh,
get away
that's
with it,
true.
you know.
Okay.
But I
I
think
can see that.
that's kind of like what the the rule is. But yeah, I know this. Like there was a video not too long ago about like three girls getting kicked out of Disneyland
Wow.
because of the costumes. It was like they were dressed
Yeah.
like Cinderella, Ariel, and Aurora, and they were like getting like Disney security is like, hey, you guys, it's like you got two options. You gotta like change your clothes or you gotta leave. like
Wow.
yeah, and like
Wow.
security, and then it's like, well, I mean, I don't want to call security, and it's it's very interesting,
Wow.
like the whole
See, I can
protocol. Yeah,
imagine that. Yeah, I could see
yeah,
that. Because that's
yeah.
the thing. People were. It was like a convention. People were stopping and taking pictures with other
That's
people.
the thing.
Dude,
Yeah.
I even here's another thing I even saw yesterday. I saw full on tripods, dude.
Oh,
And I'm
wow,
like, hold
interesting.
on,
Yeah,
like they're letting these people do this? Now, to be honest, it wasn't chaos. It was very organized
yeah.
yesterday. They did a fantastic job of getting people. I got on Rise of the Resistance in 29 minutes on May the
Wow,
4th. And
that's
the
really
like
good.
the line said 75 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my guy TJ and I, we jump in there and it's literally was 29 minutes. We calculated exactly the T that we actually
That's good.
got to the hologram scene, which is to me when the ride starts.
Yeah,
And then,
yep.
you're in there. So, no, they were running it very well yesterday. They were very prepared for the crowds, and it wasn't anything too bad. And then they also had the virtual queue for the store, the May the 4th pop-up store that they had.
Okay.
But then like after 3 o'clock, they just let anyone in. Like there was no need
Oh,
to hold,
cool.
which was really kind because even with them doing that, you would think chaos again. You could get around the store, you could see stuff. So shout out to Disney for and the staff that were working it because they did a really amazing job of running it very smoothly yesterday. Cal Kestis lightsaber, TJ Obed. Wow. Cal Kestis lightsaber, Obed. That thing was so cool. It was, I mean, out of all the ones
I
that they
want
have that they've
it.
made,
Yeah,
it's $400. It does actually split off in two.
nice. Is it
And you can
magnetic?
it's
I'm guessing. Yeah,
magnetic.
okay.
And then so one of the things that we were saying is like, so how do you choose the lightsaber color for it? Because like in the game, you kind of get to pick whatever one. Well,
Yeah.
it's actually programmable. It has the actual buttons. You can switch the colors yourselves.
Okay.
So it looked absolutely the quality of these lightsabers since Disney has been putting more effort into these recently has
Yeah.
just gotten better. It looked very heavy. It did how many pounds? I think I said it was 6 pounds.
Yeah, and I
That's
know
what I said it
the
was.
Hasbro
Yeah,
ones went up in price, like quite a
yeah,
bit. Yeah, like they went up like $100 because they
yeah.
used to be
They're
like 190, 175. Now they're like 260,
yeah,
275.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So they
crazy.
really are stepping up the quality.
Yeah, well, they got
And you
competition
just
now because they have like third party,
yeah,
like non
yeah.
licensed saber people making this insane lightsabers.
Well,
So
the one that I met that if you guys might have seen on our social media, MegaCon, Vader's Vault, those guys' sabers were extremely good. And this is not a paid promotion, by the way, unless they want to. But but like it was great. Like their
yeah,
sabers were really, really well made.
yeah. I mean, they're expensive. They're like
Yeah.
600, right? It's like
Oh
almost thousand
yeah,
dollars. Yeah. So
for sure.
but they are like high quality, and the
Yeah.
details on them are incredible. So
Yeah.
yeah, good man. That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the video when you posted it. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I posted a
The
video.
chants, bro, were hilarious. People just start we just were chanting different characters. They were Jar Jar Binks and they were just chanting Jar 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 Jar, Babu Frick.
Babu Frick.
But yeah, like
Bit
when
for tuna.
right, yeah. Uh
I would have been
no,
there like
The Carrie Fisher chants were really nice. That
okay,
was
that's
nice.
good. That's good. Yeah.
Um, then Chewbacca and Ray came out, the characters'
Okay.
costumes, and everyone just started chanting Chewie, Chewie,
Yeah.
and then they started chanting Ray, 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 and it was just so much such fanfare.
Yeah. That's
Just see
good.
people like I know people are divisive on the sequel trilogy, but everyone out there just didn't seem to care. Like I know there are toxic people in the Star Wars space, like any fandom.
Like
It's not a Star
yeah,
Wars
exactly.
thing
Like any fandom
anywhere.
for sure.
This goes for many things. I mean, it could be sports, anything, right? There's unfortunate people that don't represent the best, but generally speaking, the majority of people I do believe are just really happy, like they really enjoy this stuff, and you could see it yesterday. Like people were just getting along. I was very happy to be there and having a good time, and it really showed. So
That's good.
no, it was great to be out there for May the 4th.
Awesome. Awesome, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So that's
Thank you.
great. Yep. All right. So before we talk Jedi Survivor, because I really want to talk about that, but
Yeah.
we watched the movie. Um, you and I had the opportunity to watch Peter Pan and Wendy, the
Yes.
movie that came out on Disney Plus. And you said that you were divided on it.
Yeah.
Um, I okay.
Go for it. Go for it.
All right. It was really boring, dude. It was really, really boring. I think that to the movie's detriment, right? And nothing against, the child actors. Everyone was good. Jude Law was great as Captain Hook. And they try to spin it around, make it different, make it new, right? But you could tell that this is like man, I I don't want to offend anyone. I want to be very, because we pride ourselves into being very uh you know centered
Sure.
with our discussions, reviews slash opinions about this sort of thing. um but you know I try to just block, like, okay, I'm gonna go in open mind, this is fine, I'm gonna go in. But then the thing, it's so on the nose, dude. Like, some of the changes are so on the nose. And I mean, it doesn't come across preachy, right? Because it really doesn't. But everything is really on the nose. And it's very unfortunate that this story was a beloved story for many, many years, had to go through that. Granted, a lot of the things that some people may consider to be problematic with the original Disney movie are moved around a little bit, where it's not really a problem anymore. Um, that said, it's just that I just found the movie just really boring, man. And
Mm.
you know, unfortunately, it wasn't that good. Okay, before I pass it to you, I mean, I gotta talk about Tinkerbell, right? Because that's the big deal. That's the
Sure.
everyone was
Sure.
up in arms about it.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, I do have a problem with Tinkerbell because the CG is
Sure.
awful. It's not nothing against the actress and
Yeah.
against the casting choice. Not no, I'm totally open, right? But
Yeah.
the CG, like, she looks so fake in some of the
Yeah. They
shots.
they did her bad. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's rough, dude. Like, all around, the CG in this movie is just not good, and you can tell
Yeah.
that this is a lower budget compared to other movies that are out there. But at the same time, you compared, like, the CG for Little Mermaid still looks kind of iffy from the you know TV
True.
spots
True.
and trailers. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's basically how I feel about the movie. Right? I think Peter Pan, like the character, as portrayed in this movie, was kind of like a annoying. And I just, like, there was nothing relatable. And like, he's not really playful like you would see in other movies, right? And yeah, and Peter Pan, like, live action movies have a problem, right? They have a high standard, and the high standard is that they all have to be compared with Hook. And and none of these movies, like the Universal movie that came out in 2004, 5, was good. And there was another one that came out not too long ago. I like, it completely faded into obscurity. I don't even remember. But then and then this one, right? But then you got to go back and compare it with Hook, which is unfortunate, because this is a movie directed by Steven Spielberg, starring some of the best actors ever. It's rough. It's rough. So, uh, yeah. What are your takes on this thing, man?
Yeah, yeah. Good breakdown. No, good breakdown, Obed, on your thoughts there, because it's I think people a lot of people critiqued this and they didn't have a very good way of expressing their criticisms, and I think you articulated in a way that I think is very fair, and that's good. Yeah, I'm very divided because this movie was very, like, you said boring. To me, I would refer to as droggy. Like, I had interest. I'm not gonna I have watched things before I literally, like, have fallen asleep or just didn't care about. Like, I'm just gonna be, and it wasn't because I was tired. It just literally just I just didn't care. You know, but this one I was able to actually watch it because it's a short movie.
It's
It's not really
short.
that
So
long of
it's
a
an hour
movie
and a half,
too.
yeah.
I think that that helps it too. Like if they would have tried to push it too much longer, then that could have been a problem. So with them both cutting out content, they also cut down runtime on the movie too, which I think was a good choice. As for like I mentioned to you, like the things that they did cut out, it's like that's great, but the issue then is that it almost felt like a little bit soulless is the wording I would describe to it. So like, you have fun scenes and you have cool moments, but it didn't make you feel a great sense of necessarily adventure or feelings that maybe you would have associated with Peter
Yeah.
Pan before. Now, does that mean that that you should put this other content back in? No, it's not what that means at all, right? The stuff that's been problematic before. I think if anything, history would like what do you want the legacy to be for new Disney, right? Like you can at least look back and say, well, we did this thing, it didn't work out, but at least we're not going to be, etched in stone with something that's from the past that, maybe didn't age as well. I think that's long term better for your the marketing and the brand. I mean, you think of really just as overall as a company, but you cannot keep doing this with remakes. Like I think about The Lion King for an example. I like the Lion King remake. I think John Favreau. I like John Favreau. I think he's a good job.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. They recreated basically the same thing, but just did it with CG. So it just didn't feel as maybe powerful conveyed as when you have something that's in a cartoon animation format. That's kind of how I feel with this. It was not the same thing from a story standpoint, but it just felt like nice time, nothing extra special, or as my dad always likes to use this terminology, nothing to run home about, you know? And you all got to watch this movie. It's not that kind of a movie. It's fine for watching at home on television. I think they made the right choice by doing that. But there's so many little things they could have done that made it more. I think the coloring, like just the poor coloring of this movie.
Oh
It looks
yeah.
and it changes though. It's not from the whole time
No.
because at the very beginning of the movie, it's okay.
It's
It's more
yeah.
at night. It's whatever. They go off to what looks like New Zealand or something, right? It's like
They go
they're
to Middle
flying.
Earth.
All the kids are flying in, over here like
Yeah.
Superman, and then out of nowhere, I'm like, what just happened? It's the coloring goes like a 2006, looking like, bad filter over it.
You
Like
know what? And I now that you point it out, yeah, because
it's really weird.
I watched it in Dolby Vision, and you can really tell that the coloring is really poor. Like
It's
none of
really
the
bad.
like the colors don't pop. Like there's like it's just very strange. Like the
Like if you're
what?
gonna make a
Yeah,
movie for kids, you need to make it
yeah,
vibrant. You need
yeah.
to make it feel
It's like all of a
fun.
sudden Zack Snyder sneaked in the studio and flipped the
Yes,
switch
it did feel
till
like
he
Zack Snyder. Yeah,
put the Justice League switch on
yeah, yeah.
and turn
We
off
should
the
look up the
colors.
editor on this. We should
Turn
look up the editor on this movie. What
turn the
else have they
colors
worked
off.
on?
So
um, but yeah, outside of that, I don't like. I see the reviews on it, right? You and I talk like, okay, so like right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at a 64 by the critics, right? To me, I think that's actually fair. I would say
yeah,
it's about 6.5. I would say that's fair
it's
for what it is.
IGN gave it a 6. I think I agree with that.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I've seen some really bad. I think some people are just so hard. I'm like, have you
No, no,
guys
no,
seen
no.
some of these movies out
I
there?
saw,
I've
oh,
seen
dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
I
I could
agree.
watch this. I could sit there and not be like, my skin feels like it's coming off because I'm just so troubled by what I'm seeing. Wasn't that? But like, compared to like you mentioned Mario, right? How the heck does Mario have like a 50? That movie should have been a 90, maybe even 100%. I'm biased. Yes, I said what I said. But come on,
Yeah.
bro. What movie were they watching?
I agree. And then the thing with Mario, right, is like it's still like blowing everyone's socks off in the box office, and
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it looks like the legs are almost done, right? It comes out next week on digital,
Yeah.
but it proved itself, and the problem is that with like this sort of movies from especially the remakes from Disney, they they should, like, I'm concerned about the Moana. live action
Oh, sure.
because
I'm
it's
concerned too. Yeah.
because everything, not everything, right? Because I think Beauty and the Beast was good. I think Cinderella was good. I think Cinderella is actually
Cinderella's really
underrated.
good. Yes,
Yeah,
Cinderella's really
honestly.
good.
And then Lion King was good, right? And it has the problem where, fortunately, because of the art style, um, the animals conveying emotion, it's hard, right? But there was a point where it just started going down. I think like after Aladdin,
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah.
point, right? Because I
Like
think,
Mulan wasn't that
oh
great.
my
It
gosh,
was it
but
was it was the
I
same
think
thing, like very kind of,
Aladdin was infuriating to me because
whoa, whoa.
they cut the best parts of the movie. They cut the end fight. There's no end fight, and it's awful, dude.
Sorry. Aladdin's infuriating.
It is, dude.
Wow, man.
I,
So one of the good ones I think that's also underrated is The Lady and the Tramp on the Disney Plus Lady and the Tramp. I think
just the
that's
first one that
good.
came out on Disney Plus, yeah.
Right, the first one that came, I think that's pretty good. It's again short, it's fun at home. CG looks pretty good. I could have watched that in a theater.
Yeah. Man, what else did he do? Remember when they did 101 Dalmatians back in the 90s and it was excellent?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Michael Eisner, dude. He knew what he was
Oh,
doing.
I know.
Yeah.
Although I think like Cruella, right? Like that,
And
I think was good.
I
Cruella's
haven't
good.
watched it yet. And you told me it was
Oh
good. My
no,
wife liked it, yeah.
I think it's actually really funny. Like it's really, really good. But like you think about it, they took again something that's a classic tale, but just told it from a different angle. Because it is still the dome. It's still the story. That's what I like about it. They didn't go too crazy with it. Um,
Yeah.
I kind of, they did do some changes with Peter Pan, so they didn't a lot of changes. Like even just who Captain Hook is,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It just I think hopefully they can add a little more excitement to the movies.
Okay.
Um,
So here's what I got. So I went and looked for a list
mm,
of the remakes. So we got Lion
yeah.
King. We talked about Mulan. We mentioned it, right? I think Jungle Book was good.
Oh, Jungle Book's
Jungle was
great.
good. Cinderella again was good. Maleficent. I think that first one's not bad, but then that second one, oh, that second one's real bad, dude. That movie's not good. Not good at all. I mean, I can see why it got delayed. Like, I don't know, it was nuts. But um, and then we got the Alice movies, the Tim Burton ones. I think the first one's real good.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think so too.
yeah, the second one. See, I can't remember the second one. That tells you something, right? And then we got the Peter Pan one, and then there's in the works Sword in the Stone, Hercules that are in the works, Hunchback of Notre Dame's in the works. Pinocchio got like destroyed when it came out.
I have not seen the new Pinocchio. Have
No,
you?
because like I heard what everyone said, right? Which, according to you know the Academy, is the right choice. Is just go watch the Del Toro Pinocchio, not watch this
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah. Which I
So
haven't seen that either yet,
yeah,
but
which
yeah.
actually, like, my wife watched this one and she said that she liked it. So I
Interesting.
mean, it could be good. So
Interesting.
yeah. But yeah, man, it's a I don't know, Dumbo, that was the thing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens to Little Mermaid and whatever happens after that. I'm sure that they already have a few of them planned after Moana. Haunted Mansion comes out, and what about Halloween,
Doesn't
right?
yeah,
It,
doesn't strike my fancy.
yeah, it looks okay. It doesn't really good, look that great.
Tower of
So,
Terror, isn't that supposed to be one also coming?
uh, I don't know. Did you ever watch that Tower of Terror one with Kirsten Dunst?
No, I
No,
never saw that.
that was
No, I
fun.
never watched
I,
it.
I was a kid
Sure.
back then when it came out
Sure.
because it was like when the ride was first open.
Sure.
Yeah, I watched it on Disney Channel when I was a kid. I was like, oh, that's fun. I did the ride. Now I know the thing. So whatever.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it's probably not a good movie at all. But for kids. Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens with the future projects. Joe, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, sir. It's a video game that was released last week, and we both had the opportunity to spend some time with it. I'm happy to say that despite technical issues, I'm having a great time with it, and I think that it's a true improvement of what a sequel should be, right? When you compare it to the first game, and honestly, from what I've encountered, right, I know that mileage may vary for a lot of people depending on the platform that you're playing this game on. On PS5, only problems that I've had is just inconsistent frame rate um and some screen tearing, which I'm happy to say that after the patch that came out Tuesday, the screen tearing has it's still there, but it's better, and
Mm.
and performance mode is better. Um, so I told you that I heard that the optimal play to play the game is um, resolution mode with motion blur on. I tried it and I just can't with the frame rate, dude. Can't. So I put it back on. I put it back on performance mode, and it actually it's better than what it was last week. So I'm happy to say that. But yeah, overall, I'm not too far in. I'm about what 6 hours in probably. So far, so good. The game's fun, and it looks like it's getting sweaty. So so that's great. Like it looks like it is not just gonna be you know your standard like Star Wars, your modern Star Wars kind of like adventure. It's going back and getting sweaty, and I appreciate that. So yeah, sir, what do you think of this game?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Obviously, it's very early in, so I can't say that I'm gonna feel the same by the end. But based on everything I'm hearing, I should, if not more. It starts off really, really strong. Gameplay performance has not been an issue for me. I actually do have mine on performance mode right now, and I haven't had any major issues that's super noticeable or affecting gameplay. So I'm fine. Yeah, I I look forward to continuing on because like this in theory, it's early saying this might end up being one of my top Star Wars video games of all time. I mean, Force Unleashed is up there for me. It's a personal thing. Loved, had spent many hours playing that. Really thought it was a great time. But yeah, this one is giving me some of those feelings again, with some of the things that they're doing. They really amped it up on this one. So I'm thinking Jedi Survivor. I'm probably gonna finish it very soon, like sooner than I would have maybe before, just because I can't stop playing it. Like
Yeah,
I gotta keep going back. I'm just hooked. And it's such a great gift to come out right now and have it right around May the 4th. Not gonna lie. Yes, I know that original was planned to come out in March. Would have been nice too, but I don't know. I'm in the
yeah.
Star Wars mood. When am I not? I'm wearing the shirt, but no, it's really good to have this content at the moment.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, and I haven't had like, well, some of the other problems that a lot of people have encountered, like T posting and crashes and all
Mhm.
that. It's been other than iffy performance, mine's been okay. I haven't had any big problems. But it looks like it's. I really appreciate it because it kind of follows the Arkham formula
Mm,
where the game starts and you have everything you had in the previous game already,
yeah.
and you just expand on that. So that's great. And adding the customization options, which are excellent, man.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so much, and you
Mm,
can have your hillbilly Cal Kestis or your clean cut Cal Kestis, and all the other like clothing options that you get. It's really cool, right? It's like I'm glad that they're letting people be creative with how the character looks, and I appreciate that. So that's good. Yeah, overall, man, it's been really good. I guess we'll have a final discussion after we both beat it and
yeah.
discuss the story more in detail. But you know, as of now, it's been good, and it's unfortunate that the game launched and it was super buggy, and I mean the first game was kind of like that when it launched as well, but it just hasn't been a really good last couple of weeks for big game releases and games releasing in a you know kind of buggy state. But as it goes, they're fixing it, they're working on it, and like I said, after the patch from this week, I played today for a couple hours and it was fine. Like it's
Yeah.
way better than it was, so I'm good. Yeah, cool.
I'm just curious how this is gonna end. I know there's probably spoil. I've stayed away from the spoilers
Yeah,
for
me
the
too.
most part, but I mean, considering last time the whole Vader thing was a huge, huge surprise. I don't know how they're gonna top it, but I can't wait to get to it and finish this out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm hoping that they have a big surprise like that, so that should be good. Cool. All right, man. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we will be right back. Oh, there we go. I was muted. Great. All right, Joe. Let's go ahead and talk about a few things that we have here. We had our first trailer for Gran Turismo,
Yep.
uh, the movie, I guess. Gran Turismo, the movie, the game is going to be the next game. So yeah, this trailer kind of like came out of nowhere because I heard that this movie had started production, but I wasn't expecting to see anything about it soon. And to my surprise, this actually looks pretty good. So I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
think
I
the
thought I thought it looked all right.
yeah, I think the
Yeah,
concept is good. Like if you were to do a video game movie that would have to do with racing, um basing it off of the Gran Turismo academy, and having a gamer transition into being a racer. I think that's a great concept, and I don't think it's been done. um it's probably been done with like a fictitious game, right? But not with like an actual like real life thing that happened.
yeah.
So I think looks good. I think it looks good.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the cast looks just fine. The storyline, like you mentioned, is going to be the strong part of it because it's different. It's let's not just make like Need for Speed, right?
Yeah,
Where it's okay, another racing,
exactly.
just
They
in
didn't make
general,
it
like
Fast
and
and the Furious. Yeah,
yeah, like this one, they really did something different by saying let's do a video game academy transfer into real life racing. So would that happen? No, but this is Hollywood, right? That's the beauty of Hollywood. Make a fun
well,
storyline around it
that
and see
that
how it goes.
that actually happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is
No,
based on a
yeah.
true story. Yeah, yeah.
No,
But
I 100%,
like
100%.
it looks like far fetched, right? But it actually
Yeah.
happened. So that's a
Yeah, no, for
which is
sure.
which is pretty cool, right? And
For sure.
um, not everyone gets to do that transition. Like how many 2K players to transition into an actual NBA player, right?
I plead the fifth.
So, I mean, I think they based it off a good concept. I think the concept's good. The casting looks good. And just having it be like actual circuit racing, and then the kid driving is like, oh yeah, I played this track 1,000 times. And it's like it's true, right? It's like if you know compare someone that has played Gran Turismo, like there's really dedicated Gran
Hmm.
Turismo players that would put
Hmm.
hundreds of hours in this game, and if
Yeah.
not thousands of hours in this game.
Yeah.
You know, this guys could beat an actual racer because they know the track probably even better than that actual person. They just need to practice the IRL part of it. But I think the concept's great. I think it looks good. So, will I go see it in the movie theater? Probably not. But I would not mind seeing it. Um, so yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that one for sure because it looked interesting to me. So
Yeah, I feel bad saying this. I don't think it's going to perform very well.
yeah,
And it has a good cast. Like,
yeah.
it has a good lineup.
Unless it reviews well, if it
Most of the
reviews well,
reviews, well, I just have this weird feeling it's not going to, I mean, it's in August. So it's a good timing because there's
mm-hmm.
not a ton of stuff coming out at that moment.
Yep.
And they said summer movie, so if it reviews well, great. But regardless, I look forward to checking out. If I got that movie pass that I've got, so I might put that to use and check it out this year because it looks like something that I would just casually
Yeah.
watch and see what it's about. So that's a good sign. Versus, like I think I mentioned to you before, I'm probably gonna end up seeing Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah, you
And
did.
I will keep you posted
You
on
did
the
mention that.
madness that I know that will be coming from that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Already
goodness.
announced another one, man. The final ride was not the final ride.
They did? No way.
They announced they're doing an 11th one. Yeah. With the same director. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I know.
Man.
This is like Elton John. He's on his farewell tour for the last how many years? Last one. Come on out.
Oh man. Wow. No
It's
way,
probably
dude.
projected to do very well. It's probably going to be the top movie of the summer, potentially.
Man. Well,
Uh,
Universal is like, lighting up
Universal's
their
doing well.
pockets. Yeah. They're doing
Yeah.
well.
Between Mario and that, like they're competing against themselves. So good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And the good thing is like Mario's gonna be out of the theaters by then.
Yeah.
Rumors that the Blu-ray is gonna drop like July 4th weekend,
Oh,
or
cool.
like that week before July 4th. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. All right. Well, I mean, I guess it all depends for now, but it was announced that we got our first casualty, our first Marvel casualty from the what seems to be an incoming writer strike again. So it was announced that Blade is what was the wording, indefinitely
Yeah.
on hold or
Yeah.
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it seems like there's a looming writer strike happening, kind of like what happened back in 2008. Um, it seems like this one will be affecting mostly TV, but there's already movies being affected by it. So
Yeah.
they on the Star Wars side, we were told yesterday that Andor actually finished up writing 2 days before the strike started. So Andor season 2 is unaffected, and I mean, who knows what's gonna happen, right? For I guess the more read the projects that are coming out in the I guess immediate future, but anything that's
Yeah.
probably coming out like next year or the year after may be impacted by it. So what's up, dude?
Yeah, this is a sad thing to hear. I hope that everyone gets what they deserve and get the money that they deserve, and things are all settled out in a way that's fair and wholesome for sure. But yeah, the effects on us as the people who consume content, this could get bad. I don't think it's going to get as bad as 2008, but we don't know that. This is out of our control. We don't really know how these negotiations and how these things will play out. uh, I would be very concerned if I'm a studio right now making announcements about projects that have not been written, because now you might get more ambiguous targets now of coming 2025, no January 2025 or December 2025, like how Disney does with the theme parks, right? Where they're like, we're opening up this ride in 2024. When? Could be summer, it could be spring. I don't know,
December
but it's
thirty
coming that.
first.
Right, right. It could be any of those.
Yeah.
I think that could be a very common thing. Like from a superhero standpoint, the only studio that might be using this is going to be like DC. So like, James Gunn has written the Superman Legacy movie. Good for him. He actually is both a writer and a director. And as much as you'd like to see other creatives give their takes on it, they can still carry on with some form of content. May not be always just movies, maybe some TV shows or little stuff they've talked about doing beforehand. But he might be putting more pen to the paper. Is that a good thing? Is a bad thing? I don't know. We'll let time decide. But there's like an interesting point where you may see that be more of a thing where directors have to become writers. You and I talked before about a project, a little movie known as Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen,
Yeah.
where the director became the writer for stuff, and that didn't end up very well. So it just depends. It just depends on how it
I
goes.
just remember that
I
that really bad season of Lost that we had
yeah,
back
yeah,
then. Yeah, not even
yeah.
JJ could save that. That was
No,
real
not at
bad.
all.
Yeah.
And then like I seen stuff like House of the Dragon, for an example. They would have a writer on set while they were going, which is a little worrisome considering that, but regardless, and they're now not going to have a writer on set. So whatever's written, they're just going to go with, or maybe the director makes last minute decision and there's no one there as a creative to tell them, hey, that maybe doesn't work as well. So we may see a lot of effects from that standpoint. Yeah, I'm very, very much hopeful that this won't last terribly long, but we just really don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's an ETA on it, but it seems like you know it's kind of like happening, right? And then yeah, we'll see. It's a tough time for some studios, like right, like this is like if I would be Disney, I would be really really concerned because of the way that their movies have performed and how much they do need the help, right? Getting these projects out. So I think that for Disney, it's gonna be a tough time if this, keeps going for too long. In the meantime, Chris Terrio is gonna make a ton of money.
Oh
He's
my
going
gosh.
to just go
Oh my
ahead
gosh.
and patch up all those movies that are coming out next year and put them out there. And yeah, it's gonna be everywhere.
Did you see Zaslav saying how they just turned their streaming service profitable?
Yeah,
Like this
there's
year's
like
gonna be
50
first
million
time.
profit, yeah, or something like
Yeah, for
that.
the
They
first
announced,
time.
yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
that's yeah, good for them. I mean,
Yeah.
it what's interesting is that it they did it quicker than Disney.
Yeah. They
You
they
know,
made a lot of cuts drastic last year,
yeah, it was drastic. Yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true. They had to.
they
They reorged like legit.
yeah, they
Yeah,
had to trim it up a bit, but
yeah,
we'll
man.
see.
Crazy. Um, yep. Quick update on the Mario movie. The movie is doing great. Crossed $1 billion, opened in Japan and South Korea last week, and it's on track to do 1.2 over this weekend, right? If I'm not wrong, because it's already at like
Yep. Yep, you're
1.54
right.
something like that, or 540
Yep.
054.
1.044.
Yeah, 044. Yeah. So it seems like it'll reached the 1.2 over this weekend, and yeah, good for them. Um,
I think it gets probably to 13. I think it gets to that 1,300,000,000. I think it's gonna get
yeah,
there. Just
probably.
because like you said, Japan had just opened up just last weekend.
Yep.
It's gonna have legs.
Yeah, and then
International at
it's
least.
the third highest grossing movie in Mexico ever.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's a big deal in Latin America. It's been doing really good.
Yeah, we've
I mean
got
I
followers out there.
oh totally totally yeah. So yeah, it's a big market, and then yeah, I know that. Uh, if I'm not wrong, the release in Japan was limited. Was it was like a limited release for last week, and I think this week is their wide release. So yeah, I mean that number could definitely, yeah, I could see it hitting the 1.3 shortly.
Yeah.
So it hit 500 uh, domestically, which is great, and we're not even on the weekend, so weekend starts today technically, and a good thing that could happen to this movie is people going to see Guardians, right? They're going to see, and then it's like, oh, let's go ahead and watch another movie. Let's go watch Mario, or
Yeah.
go to the movie theater with the kids, right? Oh, let's watch Guardians. Oh no, let's go watch Mario instead. Um, that could happen too. So yeah, no, I'm really glad that this movie's doing fantastic. So I really did enjoy it. So it's good. Joe. All right. So last week we had a pretty good discussion about uncertainty in Xbox and you know Redfall like not moving people's needle and stuff happening, right? So Redfall came out and reviews are bad. Reviews are bad. IGN gave it a 4. Um, Actually, hold on. Let me scratch that. I think it was lower. Let me see. I'm gonna Metacritic real quick. But yeah, Redfall launched. It wasn't good. Um, and a lot of Xbox fans started asking questions. It was like, is Phil Spencer the right choice? Like you were talking about last week. So like we kind of noticed it for a little bit now, but it seems like most of the Xbox guys started realizing that it may not be the greatest option right now. So yeah, it was a 4 from IGN. Um, it's right now it's at a 59 meta score with a 2.9 user score. I mean, user score, give or take, right? It's never good in any scenario, right? Especially Metacritic, where everything's either 10 or 0. So, but yeah, man, this was supposed to be a huge game for Xbox. It was like their first exclusive after all those acquisitions, and although Hi-Fi Rush was technically the first one, but this was like the first like big like AAA thing that they put out there. It's like, oh, this game's coming out and it's gonna be awesome. And yeah, man, it's reviewed bad. So Xbox fans started asking questions, right? And Phil Spencer stepped up, which right, he doesn't have to do this. You're the CEO of Microsoft's game division. You don't have to come out and show your face. I appreciate that he's out there. This should have been the PR guy. Like, is it Matt Booty? Um,
Yeah.
they, Phil doesn't have to be doing this crap, man. Like, he's like the top dog. He's the top pay. He reports to Satya Nadella. He doesn't have to do this. And and you know it. The interview was very interesting because we have the running joke, right, with low energy, right? He you can tell that he was not happy. He's kind of like low energy, um, and he was saying that, oh yeah, we gave them the freedom to work however they need after the acquisition. We didn't like jump in internally. This game reviewed well, so that's why we went ahead and put it out. And well, maybe you gotta be a little bit stricter with your guys, right? And not just put out these games out there. Maybe run it through a focus group. You know, uh, I don't know, man. It was a very weird interview, but there was one thing he said that I'm sure like a lot of Xbox fans like really went nuts over. And you haven't had the chance to watch the interview, right?
No, I haven't watched yet.
Okay. So during the interview, he says that so so he said that basically what we said last week it was what he said. It's like our fumble with the Xbox One was so bad that we lost that generation, and then the market shifted to a digital library, and people already had their digital library somewhere else and not an Xbox. And when the new consoles came out, they just kept going with the platform that had their libraries already. So here we are in third place. Basically, that's what he said. He also said it's like there's no scenario where Starfield's gonna come out and it's an 11 out of 10 and people are just gonna sell their PS5s and buy Xboxes. That's not gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
bro. So I can see a lot of people just going nuts over that. It's a very interesting interview. Highly recommend that you guys watch it. And you can tell that he's not happy, dude. You can tell that he's not taking it. Now that said, he did mention that oh, we got the game showcase coming up, and I don't want to hype it too much, but I feel like it's gonna be good for everyone. So now, so now the Xbox fans are
Wait for that
wait for
showcase.
the showcase. Same thing.
Always.
The same thing that happened during the Xbox One. It's like wait for E3, wait for E3, wait for E3, and then now it's wait for the showcase. Oh man, it's the way he worded a lot of the he did a lot of corporate talk
Sure.
and during this interview because he can't come out and say everything, right?
No, no.
Um, but you can tell that he's frustrated. Um, and I mean, some Xbox fans are saying, "Oh, just like get rid of him," but then what are you gonna do, right? Who are you gonna get? They're in a tough spot. I watched the video, oh, man. So here's my take, right? At this point, um, not only Starfield needs to be an 11 out of 10 game. I think that whatever their pipeline for the next 2 3 years is needs to freaking be you know 8 or above.
Yeah.
You cannot do this 4 and 6 crap anymore. You
No.
cannot Redfall. You cannot Crackdown 3. You cannot keep doing this thing. You have to be. It has to be consistent at least 2 3 years to get people back on board. And that's what should have happened when the Xbox One was still around. And here
Yeah.
we are 10 years later, man. And it's still like they still haven't figured it out. But here, man, it's freaking funny that we were talking about how bad the bull drop was, that they're still reeling from it, and he just straight up said it. It was like it was so bad that we're that
Wow.
this guy's moved on from Xbox and they're not coming back. That's basically what he said. You can tell that he's frustrated, and it is, and he was like he was very he was a realist. He was like it is what it is, right? And we can't you know we Game Pass is doing great. But it's like, but at the same time, it's like much longer can you sustain Game Pass? You know, putting these games day one and not really making money out of that. I would readjust Game Pass. I would do like new stuff. Is it's for sale at like what PlayStation does, and then put it on Game Pass 6 months later. It's like, I mean,
Right,
some
right.
people are gonna wait the 6 months, but you know that some hardcore fans are gonna buy it right away.
Absolutely.
And and depending on how sales are, you can move that date from 6 to 8, from 8 to 10, 8 10 to 12. So you can move that that date, that Game Pass date, depending on your sales. But you gotta start making money somewhere else, right? And that's the
Mm,
only way that you have is to
mm.
not put these games out on Game Pass day one. You gotta stop it. You gotta stop it. They're bleeding, dude. It's like they're bleeding, and they're not willing to patch up their cut. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, the cut's bleeding. I was like, it's like, I don't have time to bleed. Like, Jesse Ventura on Predator.
Oh my gosh.
So that's basically what they're doing, man. And it's I mean, they're in a tough spot right now. Um, Microsoft went through a reorg, and I work with Microsoft products every day, every
Yeah.
day. For the last 4 months, it's been unbearably bad working with Microsoft. It's been nothing but problems with Office. Windows updates are breaking devices.
So
It,
weird.
it's been like the last 4 months overall have been just an absolute mess working with Microsoft. Um, I think that there's a concern, right? And I know that the Microsoft Games division is not going anywhere because these guys have been around since like the '90s, and they're fine, right? But I don't see Xbox as a separate platform being around for too much longer. I think this is gonna be, but I mean, maybe there may be one more generation after this, or maybe there's gonna be a revision of the Series X, and that may be it. But I just don't see them prolonging the this division. This is this is gonna be like like again, Game Pass is gonna be a PC product at some point. And when you may have like a set top device that you can stream to, or whatever X Cloud is, which was supposed to be out already, and I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know. I don't know if it's out, if it's not. I don't really
No,
know.
yeah.
But Joel, man, top spot. I don't. I'm wearing my PlayStation hat, but not because I wanted to brag, right? No, no. Honestly speaking, like, because we've said it before, I think the Series X is a great platform, and it's a great
Mhm.
product. I think Game Pass is a great product. Problem is that Game Pass is unsustainable, and then for that platform, you are not seeing killer apps. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? The
Yeah.
3DO was the most powerful console ever at the time, and it didn't have the software to back it up.
Yeah.
What happened? Super Nintendo ran over the 3DO. Um, yeah, man. I mean, any other thoughts that you have on this, guys? I mean, what can they do at this point?
Yeah, I mean, just from the beginning, like you mentioned, like about the interview that Phil Spencer had. I haven't gotten to watch yet, but I did hear about it, and then you just explained it very well. And like to be fair, since I haven't heard about it, I don't want to comment too much. But from my prior remarks from last week's episode, I didn't need this interview beforehand. I was already saying, like, I know this might be a controversial opinion, but I thought that moment that Phil Spencer may not be the guy to lead Xbox. I think you need to change, and I'm pretty sure I said this last week. I think you need to change leadership before you start putting the death penalty on the Xbox game division.
Oh,
I
totally,
still
totally.
think
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
chance. I'm like, it would be such a shame if Microsoft said, "Hey, we're killing this thing off," and they never gave another person a chance to right the ship. There needs to be someone else. I don't know who that is, You probably have to get an outside person, not an inside person, to come in and do it. But they need to try something radical because them going out and doing interviews like this, it sounds almost it sounds a little desperate. Like
Yeah,
I again, I didn't watch it,
damage
but it
control.
just sounds yes, it sounds
It's
like the
damage
answer
control.
very desperate. Which I don't have a problem with the trying to be transparent and being in front of the community. I like that. Like I remember when the Xbox One came out. I remember Major Nelson, like he was on like Boogie, like he literally traveled to Boogie's house
Yeah, for the
and brought it
one.
and brought the Xbox with him, like and was
Yeah,
like, let's play this
for the
together
Xbox
and get
One.
first impressions.
Yep.
And I'm like that kind of stuff. Like actually, I like that. Which where is Major Nelson these days? Like he was pretty good in front of
He's
people.
still around.
Around, yeah,
Yeah.
he was pretty good in front of the people. But they need somebody to run. They need somebody to run this company with a little bit more of a radical change. Because they gotta try to switch stuff up. It's almost like use a sport. We're using a lot of sports analogies today. But like when you've got a your starting fives in and things aren't going as maybe planned. Well, what do? You make some substitutions, right? You switch around. You don't keep the same plays. You start switching plays up because maybe like you're losing, but hey, maybe this is gonna work out better. You don't keep that very definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. What they're doing with the Series S and the X is not that far off from what we saw with the Xbox One S and One X. Great bits of hardware, but the strategy and launch of this seems to be almost
Yeah.
identical. And that's insane to me because we really thought this might be the one. This might be the time where they finally start doing things that are desperate. I made predictions earlier in the year, or sorry, the end of last year when we had our predictions episodes, and I was like, look, I think Xbox is going to make some desperate moves. That was exactly how I phrased it this year. That to me, the desperate move would be to switch up the head of the Xbox game division. I'm calling for it. I think that this is the thing that could be coming up. We'll see. We'll see. It's a prediction.
Yeah.
But I don't have any hate against Phil. I think he really has
No,
tried to do some good things.
he
Everyone says
cares.
he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like all the stuff you hear about from behind the scenes. I don't know. I've not worked with him, but I hear really nice things about him. But it's a shame, Obed.
And you can tell that he cares, right?
Yeah.
And that's because you could see like in during the interview you could see the frustration in his face, and that's because he cares, right? If he wouldn't care, he would come out like old school like Jim Ryan come out. It's like, why
Oh.
would I buy this? It's like, well, because look at that old game. Who would want to play that, right? Like like oh, those old school like Jim Ryan interviews are nuts, right?
Yeah.
Um, but then again, people grow, people change. Even if you're an older gentleman, you can still, you know, keep growing.
Absolutely.
Um, in the case of in the case of Phil is that I feel like that he became like this like savior figure for Xbox back when he took over from Don Matrick. That I think that his expectation or his expectations were a lot higher from the fans were a lot higher than what he was supposed to do while being in that position,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, then the problem goes that when you see that things started going off the rails with all the acquisitions, like when they started
Hmm.
going crazy and buying everything, you can tell that's a desperation move to me.
Those were.
I mean, because like they know that they would not be able to exist without those other publishers and developers that they acquired, and it to man, and it's unfortunate because I know that there's very talented people that were
Yeah.
in the Xbox studios already, and how about would you feel like if you like if you're working for a company and the company buys another company that does the same thing that you do because you can't do your job but you still work there doing your thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's it must be demoralizing, and we know that there's like huge shakeups and a lot of people left, and most of the Halo people left, And what's going on, right? Like, where are the new and exciting things? Where are the new franchises? Where, like, talk about like during the Xbox One years, right? We had like we had Horizon, we had the Days Gone, Spider Man, which are new franchises, right? Spider Man is a new franchise. I mean, it's a licensed character, but it is a new franchise. So you see this new franchises coming out on PlayStation, and all we got was like Forza, Halo, and Gears, Halo, Forza, and Gears again, and then Crackdown 3. Where's Crackdown 3? Wait for it 3, and then we waited for like 8 years for Crackdown 3, and then it came out and got sixes. Um, and it's unfortunate, right? Yeah, they had a good product, they had a good run. I think the 360 days were really good for them, and they really were able to build up that brand during those days. But again, dude, just going back to Xbox One, that that fumble was so dude. They just they didn't they just didn't only fumble. They sacked the quarterback.
Oh
Like the
yeah.
quarterback got sacked, and out of commission. it's uh it's very unfortunate what happened with the Xbox One, right? Um and and even before the Don Matrick, the backle with it. Well, if you don't have internet, we have the Xbox 360. Even before
That was
that,
so bad.
presentation
Oh my
was
gosh.
just one of the worst presentations that I've seen
Fake
ever.
claps and the
Dude, watch the Price is Right. Xbox, put on the Price is Right. And then, and then
it's
Call of
so
Duty. And then
fake.
the only game they showed Call of Duty and Call of Duty, Call of Duty. And then Call of Duty Dogs and all that. Sports. Sports TV, sports. I
Yeah.
think it was sports and TV.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Wow. Like, who would have thought that moment, right? And then E3 came, and it was a bloodbath when PlayStation came out. $100 cheaper, and here's how you play use games on PS4. Thanks.
The handoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So good.
It's it's incredible, man. It's really interesting though. I mean, PlayStation, they went ahead and said last week that they had their best quarter in PlayStation history.
I know.
Switch is still killing it. I'm sure. Like, I heard again this week um that some people already saw the upgraded Switch, and they're touting it as like a next gen kind of console, but
Yeah.
backwards compatible. So it's yeah, man. They're Yeah. So Phil feels like during the interview, we're not here to out console Sony and or
Oh my
Nintendo.
gosh.
And it's like that's the whole point, right?
Right. You
That's
want to be
the
the best.
that's the whole yeah, exactly.
You should at least.
Oh, we're not here to be the best. It's like, then why are you here, bro?
Well, that's the question that's going to be asked. And again, I didn't need this interview to call for it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's like it's like imagine LeBron James saying, "I'm not here to outplay Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson." It's like, I'm just here to be here and just play basketball and be happy. No, man, he's there to win.
Right.
He's there. He's been. This looks like dude's almost 40 years. Dude, 38. I could barely get out of my bed. It's like there's there's podcasts that when I was 38 that we recorded.
Just-
My back was garbage. Couldn't freaking move. Dude's out there making 30 points a game against the best players in the world. You're kidding me?
This is a very sports episode. Sports.
sports, sports TV. But that's what we got, sir.
Oh
You know,
man.
we'll see what happens with Phil. You know, we'll definitely keep you guys posted. But sir, in the meantime,
Absolutely.
where can people find us?
Thank you all so much for sticking with us for a really fun episode today. We want you to stay with our podcast or future episodes. Make sure you subscribe to the audio version on SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon Music. Find us on podcast platforms of your choice and make sure to follow us there. Also, subscribe to No Load Time on YouTube.
Yes.
Really appreciate all the new subscribers. You guys have been awesome. Keep subscribing, sharing with your friends and family. We're not asking you guys to give us money. Hitting that subscribe button gives us a huge boost of support, and we really appreciate that. So thank you all so very much. We also want to invite you to follow us on social media at No Load Time. It's at No Load Time, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can find us there. See those handles down below if you're watching the video version. Also, if you're a Twitch person, make sure you follow us on Twitch. We're No Load Time all together on Twitch. No Load Time all together on Twitch. You can follow us there. We broadcast a recording, so it's a great place to check us out. And then last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. And maybe, just maybe, we'll even discuss it on a future episode. But in the meantime, we'll see you all next week. I'm going to be watching Guardians tomorrow. It's also comic book day tomorrow. So make sure to get out and support the local comic book store. We'll see you guys in our next episode.
Thank you guys. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.